assume. So let's double check that. Tiny little second. And yes, apparently it is the case. So we are good, we are fine, and we are gonna go ahead. So today is an interesting day. Today I fortunately, very, very fortunately, I'm having quite a day off. In the end, it is not the case. In the end, I'm still having many things and enough things to do. And it is always a tiny bit of a pity. The thing is, I try to, and in the end, I also do things in the best way I possibly can do. Really often, to an extent where I can just say, okay, I did something. I produced something. I put in the work, I put in the effort, and also the energy. Of course, obviously, if the result then is going to be good or bad, really is just not really in my hands. It is what it is. But it is then a little bit of a pity if I clearly know that I could do better when I'm doing something and I'm not doing so. Because of, I don't know, because of what reason? Because of, and now my water is ready. I'm actually gonna take you with me to show you my food or something. I should actually kind of do it like this. Would this be better? I don't know. But here we go. Here we're having a pan for whatever reason it is being there, but we're having a bit of lentils and a bit of stuff that I do not know the English word for. And now we're taking some boiling hot water, as you can see, and pour it all over it. For whatever reason, I still don't know why, it kind of still smells like sausage. Now we're gonna put it on the stove, but I'm gonna let it sit there. So that in the end, I do not have to cook it for just 1 trillion years until it is ready, but it's just gonna take a tiny little bit of time. Since I do not have any lid, I'm gonna cover it with a plate. This is also fine. It's better than nothing. It's better than, coming back to just doing your best, giving your best. Is this even English? I don't know. What it really means to give your best. The Odyssey online. Let's actually see what they're saying. Let's see what they're saying about that. Giving your best makes you look at things a little differently. It means being positive when you want to complain, because complaining is not helping you to reach your goals. Giving your best is trying, even if you think you can't do something, because you might just surprise yourself. Well, I think it is actually, is it a saying? I don't know. I think it is a good sentence. Let's call it like that, because it is kind of what I'm encountering right now. Me actually really not willing to do any of the not any of the things, but those things that I'm doing. Maybe I'm also expecting too much. Maybe I'm expecting too much of myself in terms of actually, being fast or being good at whatever. And I don't know, like I'm really good at being fine with what I'm producing. But at this point in time, I do just really have a feeling that I could do better. And it is an interesting and strange feeling, because I very seldomly feel that way. Just kind of knowing that I can do better, but for whatever reason I'm not doing so. Maybe it's just energy management. The past few days were actually really stressful, and I did not have a lot of time to rest. And today is actually the first day for me to rest, and tomorrow I once again have to work, and now doing things I really need to do. And still 2 projects that I need to do for university and stuff, and I'm having enough things to do. Let's just put it like that. And I do also feel myself obligated to do some other things, friends asking me if I just, want to do something with them. And obviously I do also want to do so, but on the same side, I know that there is a bunch of shit that I need to get done. It's not something that I choose to do, but it's something that I need to be doing. Of course, well, I still have a bit of time left, as far as I know, actually. But there is also a ton of fucking shit that I need to get ahead with, that I need to do, period. And it's a bit stressful, but I guess, I don't know, this might be actually quite a problem with quote unquote being a perfectionist. You know, when I'm seeing something and well, I'm seeing a mistake that I made in I don't know, in a file or in a design or whatnot, I actually really want to get rid of it and I really want to solve it. Quite often I do not really know how to solve it, and so it's actually a lot of time that I'm spending trying to search or actually trying to find, not trying to search, but trying to find a solution for this problem that I'm having. But does it really matter? You know, does it really have to be quote unquote perfect? It's never actually kind of going to be perfect. There's always going to be some mistakes. Maybe I don't even know them. I don't even see them. But, you know, to some degree, I kind of force myself to deal with really quote unquote big problems, you know, things that one can see. And I mean, up to this point, I did quite well with school stuff, university stuff, and whatever. But is it really important that it is always like excellent? You know, does it really have to be the case? Can't I just, you know, be fine with doing something half-assed kind of? But for me, it is just kind of not an option. For me, it is not an option to do things in such a manner that I would actually say myself it is half-assed. Obviously, it really depends on what it is about. When it is something that really doesn't matter at all, you know, and then there is no real issue in just doing it in a certain way that is not going to be perfect, then I'm fine with it. And then it is totally fine with me, as it is actually with the podcast. And of course, I'm seeing some mistakes, I'm seeing some things, and I'm basically kind of doing the exact same mistake every single fucking time. But still, it is just not something too all important. Maybe I should actually give it more importance. But when it comes to school stuff and whatnot, it also depends on the subject. But I tend to really put in a lot of time in whatever I'm doing. It's, I don't know, it kind of is something that I guess on one hand, my mom especially instilled in me. It's just, you know, always actually doing good work, at least trying to do so with the capabilities and abilities that I have. But on the other hand, something that I kind of learned myself as well, you know. But it's not easy, you know, it kind of really is not easy. And I assume that a lot of people are having kind of the same quote unquote problem. Well, in the end, you know, one could also be talking about a blessing. One could also be talking about it just actually being quite good, you know, to just always try to do good work. But when you're getting worked up over just unnecessary things, it's not good. On the other hand, if you clearly know what the aspects are, the valuable aspects, and the things that you need to be doing, then it really does make sense, you know, to make sure that you're also covering these things. And to some degree, I would say that the project that I'm working on right now, I kind of just know that, or the factors that make a good project and that make a good file and that make a good whatever, kind of, I would assume, of course, in the end, I guess I can cover up things quite well. You know, it's all about some 3D design that I need to be doing and whatnot. And for me, there's a tiny bit of an issue to not know where it is leading to. I didn't know before. We've just gone some videos and we need to watch them, and we kind of need to do this somewhat the same thing, but at least with our model, with what we are having to work with. So in the end, it's well, it's something that kind of actually really pisses me off, not knowing where it is leading to, which is kind of what I like. Knowing the thing that I should be doing, you know, where it should be leading to, and then just being like, okay, now do something. figure shit out. And I'm gonna figure this shit out. And this is way more interesting for me than to just, I don't know, not know what is going on. Of course, I could start with the very end, but I do not have access to the very end of this whole project. So I do not really know what, the result should be, and nobody also said so, what's like the whole outcome should be. And it really is a kind of pissed off thing, and it kind of makes me angry because it gives me a framework that just completely does not work for me. It really doesn't. I mean, of course, it is pretty good to have options and to kind of see how somebody else did it, but I like to figure things out on myself. This is kind of this is essentially what I've always liked: problem solving. But problem solving in a way that I do have kind of a set amount of options. It's not like, okay, you could do whatever, which basically is design. This is partly also one of the reasons why I do like grids, that I just lower the amount of options that I have, because I do not like to have that many options, period. I don't like that. So when it comes to 3D software or any other software that has some sort of mathematical background in terms of what you do with it, because of course in the end kind of everything has a mathematical background when it comes to software, I guess, actually not sure, then it is just really great to be able to figure shit out on yourself, because you have a set amount of options, just the options that the program, the software gives you, and then just do whatever. And this is something that I really enjoy. Something, by the way, that I've also really enjoyed about mathematics per se, that here's the question, there should be a solution, and now figure things out, now do something. And I've always liked that. Even if I've actually never been too good at mathematics, I know that there is a solution to the problem, and me really trying hard and thinking hard to figure out a solution to this certain problem is really a lot of fun for me. As strange as it is, but knowing that about oneself, being really self-aware, actually then gives you a lot of opportunities to do so, and create a life that you really enjoy and that is really fun for you, it's essentially as well. So in the end, maybe I just should also kind of watch all the videos that I've gotten up to this point. I kind of skip a few things, a lot of things, because I don't know, like when it is an hour-long video, why not just giving me a fucking PDF so that I can read the shit that it is doing? Of course, this is a lot of work compared to just showing it and just doing whatever, but I kind of dislike that. I really kind of do. But in the end, I know that, I don't know, like, I really tend to just do something, try out something, trying to figure out those factors that are very important, and then just doing so and doing that, and then trying to do a good job and be good at whatever I am good at, which is just going crazy about things, I guess, just knowing, okay, I can do this and that and these and those, and then just trying to go to the extreme, trying to do just something new, trying to do something that I just like to do, not necessarily like, basically seeing those tools that I get and trying to figure out what I can do with them. This is something that I really enjoy, something that I really like. Of course, it most often takes a shit ton of time, but in the end, I'm receiving good results, I'm receiving good grades, and I'm having quite a bit of fun. But it's difficult, working all day long and then also having a life and then also just doing some other shit that you actually needs to get done. For example, fucking tidying up my flat, cleaning my flat, all of the shit that I would also need to do quite in the end. And so in the end, by the way, just as a side note, just as something that I clearly now can notice and clearly now can see, I'm having other things to do. I could work all day long Theoretically, I could do so. But, really big but. For some reason, I just disliked it as well. Compared to times where I did not have anything to do, well, maybe this is kind of the freedom that I really dislike, just not knowing what to do, and compared to having a set amount of things that I could be doing, and I can choose and whatnot, and they're smart to do, and they're good things to do, and I quite just need to do them, and so on and so forth. Yes. So in the end, my point is it ever going to be quote unquote perfect? No, it's quite never going to be. And I really hate that thing there as well. It really pisses me off. As well as this thing there. And I do not know why I'm getting these. Because compared to the rest of my face, there's like no fucking pimple, no fucking nothing. And especially like in the middle of your motherfucking face there, you're having something. Anyway. So are you ever going to be happier if you're not happy right now? Well, probably not. If you're not happy with what you have, why should you be happy with something new, something more? And I'm also hungry. But it is only 1 p.m., which is a bit of an issue. So maybe I'm going to caffeinate myself a bit more, kind of suppress that hunger, or I'm just, working on something, or I'm just also trying to rest a bit. The Greeks called it endaimonia, and now all of a sudden I'm into Stoicism. Give your best where you have your best to give. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, and mastering yourself is true power. A quote by unknown. Well, thanks. Do you give your best where you have your best to give? You leverage your strengths for the greater good. Work on your strengths, not your weaknesses, to realize your potential. You're special for real, but to realize it, you need to hone in on and focus on using your gifts to grow your greatness. You are an individual with a unique set of strengths, weaknesses, and also experiences. Maybe you don't show your strengths at work, but why not? No matter what the task is, you can leave your mark. You have your signature strengths, use them. So the Greeks call it endaimonia, which is pretty close to eudaimonia, which is a Stoic concept, but I do not know what it is all about anymore. Give your best by spending time in your strengths. Which, by the way, is something that I kind of often think about, trying to maximize your strengths, while also just really giving a fuck about the things that you're not good at. For me, being precise as a manual labor type of thing, it is not necessarily that's something that I'm good at. And so I kind of also tend to just really give a shit about that, and really build on my strengths, ideas, creating stuff, doing stuff, actually just, making something. But difficult, really, really, really difficult, because sometimes, people suggest you to just be good at something that you're not good at, try hard at things and whatnot, and yeah, anyway. Learn your strengths. Learn to find your strengths. There's actually a lot of quizzes outside there that you could take to figure out your strengths. Also personality-wise, pretty interesting. I did one on a podcast before, but yeah. So let's just, I'm going to give you their key takeaways. Maybe they kind of are applicable to the whole episode. Maybe they are not, but I actually really do not care. Give your best where you have your best to give. Focus on the vital few activities where you can really give your best. Focus on strengths or weaknesses. You'll get more results by improving your strengths than improving your weaknesses. If you get knocked down, get up again. Stay the path. Focus on finding your strengths and finding ways to leverage them. Expect a learning curve, but know that this is the high ROI path, or return on investment. Spend more time on your strengths. Design your time to spend most of your time on your strengths. Spend less time on your weaknesses. Limit the time you spend on your weaknesses. Find ways to offload more of your weaknesses so you can spend more time in your strengths. To level up your game, find a way to serve others with your strengths. If you really make the most of your strengths and accelerate your growth, then use your strengths to help others. With that being said, I'm going to end the episode.